my channel, or if you're new, my name's Chloe. Subscribe for hauls and vlogs. So I recently got back from my first ever trip to Krakow in Poland. I went with my boyfriend James for 5 days and we had an amazing time, so I really wanted to sit down and share with you a review, some recommendations of where we went, where we ate, and also do a little haul of what we bought. I think I'll start with a haul because there really isn't too much to show you. We did buy a few souvenirs for family members, and to be honest we were just taking everything in and just spending the money that we had on experiences and eating food. I'll just quickly share them with you. So starting off strong with pins. I didn't know I recently started collecting pin badges. I was inspired by Brogan Tate and I just think it's a really lovely way to capture memories of trips without getting anything that's too bulky and takes up too much space. So I've got 2 pin badges. This is the first one. It is quite small. It's just a little Polish flag, a pin badge that I bought when we went to the castle, and I think this was literally about like £2 or £3. And then the other one I got was from the Hard Rock Cafe, and just look at that, how stunning. I absolutely love the design of this. There's obviously a lot of Hard Rock cafes around the world and you can always guarantee you will find a pin badge in those. However, I only want to really buy them from there if there's absolutely no other pin badges or if it's a really special trip. And I do think that Krakow was probably one of the best trips me and James have had. It was amazing to experience it together. I think this was about £13, but yeah, I just absolutely love it and I can't wait to put it on my little pin hoop. I've also started collecting postcards for the same reason, and this is the one that I chose, which is of St Mary's Basilica, and it's just a really nice image of the old town city and a sunset. Also got a couple of magnets. I don't really want to collect magnets, but James won this in Zakopane when he was playing a game, so we've got that one. And then James picked this one up from Auschwitz because he liked it, so this is his little souvenir. So it's just a quote magnet. It says Auschwitz did not suddenly fall from the sky, so very meaningful quote. James got himself a little shot glass, which I think makes a lot of sense because he also purchased some Polish vodka from the duty free. This was the one that we tried on the Zakopane trip, and he really liked the cherry one, so he bought that. Last thing, which makes absolute no sense to Poland, but I got this blueberry bowl from Flying Tiger. I seen it a few months ago when I went on a mystery trip with Christy, and I didn't get it because I didn't want to have to carry it around the city with us. But we came across Flying Tiger on our last day in Krakow, so I thought I'd pick it up, and I cannot wait to have really cute little porridge bowls in this, and yeah, I just love it. I think it's really cute. So that's the haul, as I said, quite small. Now on to the trip. I was thinking, do I break this down into what we did each day in order, or do I do it as food, places, trips? And I think I'm going to do the second option because if you want to see what we did in order, then I did vlog the entire trip, and then vlogs will already be live on my channel. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how we came to booking our trip, also travelling, and the apartment that we chose. So I know that James has wanted to go to Krakow for a long time now. He is very into history, so I knew that he wanted to visit Auschwitz. I'm not going to lie to you, the thing that encouraged me to go was watching TikTok videos. Just looked amazing. But also I'm normally more of a like summer beach holiday kind of person as opposed to someone that would go for city breaks usually, but yeah, TikTok won me over and I really wanted to book a trip here. So I started to do a little bit of research, have a look around, and I firstly started looking at package holidays, which includes flights, transfers and hotel. That's just Marley jumping down off my desk. Do you want to go out? Someone has very rudely started cutting their grass outside when I'm filming a video. I started having a look, and to be honest I just didn't like the look of any hotels. I knew I wouldn't spend a lot of time in a hotel, but I just wanted to book somewhere really nice. It's going to be both of our first times in Krakow and Poland itself, and it was going to be a really special trip, so I wanted to book somewhere very nice. So after I couldn't find any, I then started to look on Airbnb and I came across this apartment which was beautiful, and yeah, the location seemed great, the apartment was really really nice, and it was also affordable. It was just £58 a night, which I think is really reasonable, especially for where it was and how it looked. But equally, I didn't want to book the first apartment that I saw, so I did kind of have a browse through a lot more, but I just kept going back to that initial one. So that's the one that we booked, and that's the first thing I booked. I actually booked it before the flight. I obviously made sure there was flights on those days, and then went ahead and booked it, and I used Klarna, which meant that I could pay in 3. So again, that was really useful to us. So once I'd booked the accommodation, I went on to booking the flight. We chose Ryanair because I think, one, that was the only flight going out to Krakow on the day we wanted and coming back from Newcastle, and 2, it was the most affordable option. The flights were actually more expensive than anything else. We paid £350 for me and James to fly there and back with Ryanair. We chose the regular fares, which meant that you could choose your seats, you got priority boarding, and you could also take a small bag as well as like a cabin size bag each. So yeah, that cost £350 altogether, which was more than I was expecting for like a city break. It's just luck of the draw really with flights, whether you're going to get a good deal or not, but that's what we chose. And doing research, I also realised how cheap it was in Krakow, especially the taxis. So we didn't go ahead and book any transfers. We just decided we would get a taxi from the airport to our apartment. We'll also leave everything linked below, all of the restaurants, the apartment, prices, locations. I'll leave as much information as I can in the description of this video, but if you do have any other questions, just leave them as a comment. Once the flight and apartment was booked, I then went to research things to do, trips, places to eat. I actually made a little PowerPoint, which is just hilarious, like it's such a me thing to do, but of places that I wanted to go, things I wanted to do, where I wanted to eat. I also looked on TikTok for lots of recommendations, so I had like a saved folder on my TikTok. I had the PowerPoint. I then went on maps on my iPhone and I created a guide. So there's 26 places in there. So the apartment, places to eat, and places that would be going on our trips. And this was just so handy because when you zoomed out, you could then see where everything was and how close things were together. I was then able to make a bit of an itinerary. Like, I didn't plan out every little detail because we didn't know what the weather was going to be like, and just, you know, obviously things can change, but we did have a little brief idea of what we would do. As I said, we went for 5 days, 4 nights. We went Saturday to Wednesday. On the Sunday, we did the Zakopane and thermal baths trip, and then on the Tuesday, we did the Auschwitz and salt mine trip. So I will come on to those later, but it meant that we had 3 days. So we had a day either side, which was our travel days. So obviously it meant we didn't have a full day, but we did have a good chunk of the day to spend in the city. And then the day in the middle, which was the Monday, was our full entire day to kind of do as we please. From there, we decided the first day we would do the old town, so we would explore this part of the city. Monday we did the castle and went up to this side, and because our apartment was pretty much in the Jewish quarter, we kind of knew what was around there as well. So I would definitely recommend, if you're traveling somewhere, to do a little guide on your maps. I'm not sure what the situation is with other types of phones like Androids, because obviously this is the like iPhone Apple Maps, but I'd imagine they have a similar function, and it was so handy just to see where everything was in one place. We travelled at 8 o'clock in the morning, which I thought was a really good time because it was early but not like mega early, but it equally meant that we had near enough an entire day in the city when we got there to explore. I think we got to the apartment about 12ish and we went out around 1. So yeah, really good chunk of time still left in the day. The apartment was stunning. I absolutely loved it. Like, it was a really kind of aesthetic, clean, modern apartment, but it had some really nice touches. Like, I loved the brick wall that was behind the bed. It had everything we needed and more. It had a really good hairdryer, which I was impressed with. I had an iron and an ironing board, a washing machine. Yeah, it just came with everything we could have asked for, and it also had a lovely little balcony, so we really enjoyed sitting on there a few times. There was a day that we had coffee on the morning, so I went over the road to get them and then brought them back and we sat on the balcony, and it was just a really nice touch. So I would definitely recommend checking out Airbnb. The only negative we had was that the bed was far too soft, but obviously with beds, like mattresses. You can't please everyone because everyone has a different kind of comfort, but yeah, it was too soft for us. Firstly, going to talk about the food. I've got a big list on my notes and I'm going to tell you where we ate, what we chose and about how much we paid. Things that we ate on our To Get Your Guide trips I'll talk about when I speak about the trips. All of this food that I'll talk about now is roughly in the Old Town Square or just outside of it. So our first night we went to Pizzatopia. We went about 3-4 p.m. because that was our travel day, so we hadn't really ate much, so we wanted an early tea. And when we went, it was actually really quiet as well, so that was good. And we went on a Saturday. It was a Saturday. I expected it to be busy, but I think the time we went was perfect because once we'd sat down with our food, it then got really busy because obviously it was kind of venturing more onto the evening time then. So the prices I'll tell you is the equivalent in English money, but obviously the Polish currency is zloty and it was very cheap in Krakow. So we paid about £20 for 2 make your own pizzas and 2 drinks. One of them was alcoholic. James got a beer, I got a Coke, and we both got a make your own pizza, which generally was a little bit more expensive than the set pizzas. So the make your own ones, it's a bit like a Subway where you choose what dough, what cheese, what toppings, what sauce. It was a really good experience. The pizzas were amazing. In hindsight, we definitely could have just shared one because they were really big, but they were amazing and I would definitely say it's worth the hype. If you're going, I would definitely put Pizzatopia on your list. As a dessert, we went to a little ice cream shop and we both got a tub of 1 scoop ice cream. Worked out about £1 each. Really yummy, so I can't complain there. On one of the evenings, we had pasta from Ciao, which was a restaurant roughly in the Jewish quarter. This isn't a restaurant that I'd seen on TikTok or anything. I was just looking for places close by to have something to eat because it was one of the days that we'd been on a trip, so it was quite late, and we just wanted something quick and easy that we could go and collect and take away to eat back at the apartment. So yeah, we found Ciao Pasta. It was really good. They were about £7.75 each for a tub of pasta, which at first I thought seemed a little bit expensive compared to other places, but it was actually a really big serving. The pasta's homemade and it was honestly just delicious. So I would definitely recommend. It's very Instagrammable, Pinteresty vibes as well. It's a really cool restaurant and the concept I really liked. But yeah, that was really good. So very nice pasta. Literally over the road from our apartment was a coffee shop called Emigrant Coffee. It was about £3 a coffee, so pretty standard. We got an iced latte and a normal latte. They were really nice, and just the little shop as well was really cute. It was really handy for us obviously staying in that apartment. So if you did decide to stay kind of in that area, I would definitely recommend going and grabbing a coffee, and that's the coffees that we got to sit and have on the balcony. So I was really in my kind of city girl living era there, going over the road, grabbing the coffee and running back to the apartment. I felt very cool basically. Also next to our apartment there was a new restaurant called Shadow Resto. So we first noticed it because you could see it from the courtyard and the balcony. They had an outdoor garden area, but on one of the evenings we actually went down the street and went in through the normal entrance. So it was a new restaurant. I can't remember how much we spent because we did get a couple of drinks. It was a little bit more expensive than some of the other restaurants we've seen, but it was really nice. We had a cheese board and some tapasy bits that we shared, and just the environment, it was a really nice atmosphere. The staff were really lovely, and again, if you're staying in that area, it's really convenient and local, especially if you had a long day and you were tired and you just wanted somewhere close. I would definitely recommend them. And then a couple of other places. So we've got Mr. Pancake. So that was obviously one I'd seen all over TikTok, and I knew that we had to go there because me and James love our sweet treats. We love pancakes, so we went there for kind of brunch, a late breakfast, pancake stack each and a non-alcoholic kind of cocktail drink each, and it came to £20, which I thought was quite reasonable because if you got something like that in the UK you'd be paying a lot more. In hindsight, definitely could have shared because they were big and very sickly. I think if we went back, I'd probably go there on an evening as a dessert and just share one instead, because yeah, there was just far too much. We both left some, but it was really good. They were really tasty. The restaurant as well, really cool inside. Definite place to visit. So we were staying in the Jewish quarter. One night we went to a little market area which had the Zapiekanki pizzas. I'm probably pronouncing that really badly. I didn't realise that it's like an outdoor market, and there's a bit of like a circle, and each window has the same thing but they're different businesses. So we tried one of those. It was £4 for a large, which I think was reasonable. It's affordable and nice, but I wouldn't say it was worth the hype, and I don't know if it's something that I would go back and get again. I'd maybe try a different one. Maybe it was just the one that we had, but it wasn't one of the best things that we ate. I also went to Piano Rouge, which was one of the restaurants recommended on TikTok. I wasn't gonna go, but then we stumbled across it one night and decided to go in, and honestly the atmosphere was amazing. I really loved the decor. It was really cozy. We had a main each. I had soup, James had pasta, James got a cocktail, I got a mocktail. It was about £28, so a little bit pricier than some of the places, but definitely worth it, especially for the live music. I think the live music starts around 8 p.m, so there was a singer and someone on piano, and that was really nice. It was just a really kind of like chilled, relaxing evening, having food, listening to some good music. I'd love to go back for a bigger meal, have some dessert and spend more time and listen to the music more, but it was a really nice evening. On the same street there was a restaurant called the Bulldog or something. I think it was like an English kind of style pub. I think they show sports on an evening. We actually went for brunch on our last day, so we got a full English breakfast and a coffee each. I think again it worked out about £20 of English money, all quite reasonable for what it was. It was a big breakfast. You've got toast with butter and jam, so I actually had my breakfast with the toast, like with butter on, and then when I'd finished I had some jam on the toast. It was like a little dessert after my breakfast, but it was really good. So I definitely recommend if you want like a classic English pub kind of meal. And then the last thing that I've wrote down is the Krakow Candy Shop. So there is a few different ones. We went to one where the sweets are in like big barrels, really cool inside, like and I didn't even know if I was going to get anything, but the girl just handed us a bag anyway, and we thought screw it, why not? So we just started piling the sweets in. It was quite a hefty bag, and it worked out about £9 worth of sweets. Now to be honest, if you've got a pick and mix in the UK, you'd probably spend £20 at least. Got a bag of that weight that we did, so probably not too bad. Equally, it just depends if you're a sweet kind of person. Like I much prefer chocolate, so I did get a few bits, but James ate the majority of them. But moving on to places, so these are some of the places that we visited on the days where we weren't doing one of the Get Your Guide trips. So firstly, in the Old Town main square was St Mary's Basilica, which was about £3 entry each. You went to like a little shop to buy the ticket, and then you went in. Absolutely stunning building. I would definitely recommend to everyone, like even if you're not religious, to go in and have a look. Like the ceilings were just amazing, just all the fine details. The fact that people have made that is just insane. James is quite religious, so he can appreciate a good church. Like that's what I said in the video. I was like, James appreciates a good church. But yeah, it was just a stunning building, and it just felt really nice being in there. Like the atmosphere again, and just everyone was like really respectful. There was people like sitting and praying. There was like candles that you could light, and yeah, just for me, even just being able to stand and like take in the architecture and all the detail, it was a lovely place, and I would definitely recommend going. Also in the main square was the clock tower. So this is actually free to go in on a Monday. I don't know how much it is on other days, because when I was searching it, different websites were conflicting with the prices. So if you're visiting Krakow and you're there on a Monday, I would definitely recommend doing the clock tower on that day. A nice little thing to do. There's quite a lot of steps, and they're quite steep, and some of them are really like small as well, so it was quite hard getting up and down. Like my legs are feeling it afterwards. There's also a few like exhibits to view, different platforms, and just the view as well was amazing. I would definitely recommend if you're going on a Monday so that it's free. I don't know if I would have paid to go in. It would have depended obviously how much it was. There's also the cloth hall. So I didn't realise that the cloth hall is literally just filled with shops. I wasn't sure what it was, but obviously it's a really big building in the centre of the square, and it's filled with lots of small businesses that sell all your kind of standard trinkets, like the little musical boxes I had, tea light holders, magnets, key rings, pens, like all that kind of stuff. A really nice variety, like each stand was actually different and did have a different selection of products. So yeah, that was nice to go in for a little bit of shopping. We also went to Wawel Castle, so we did that on a different day because it is slightly like in a different direction. We were sweating when we got there because we were rushing, thinking it was going to like thunder and rain, and we wanted to get there and actually be able to walk around while the weather was nice. Typically the weather was actually fine, so we rushed for nothing. It was different than I expected because it's not just the castle, there's a lot of grounds. There was like an administration building, I think there was a church or a cathedral, so there was quite a lot in there. Walk around the grounds and look at the castle and things, it was free entry, but there was tickets that you could buy for different exhibitions. So there was like the gardens you could pay for to walk around, and there was different displays and parts of the castle that you could go in, but obviously you would need to pay. So we just did the bits that you didn't need to pay for and had a walk around, and that was enough for us. There was quite a lot to take in, there was lots of little gift shops, but yeah, just seeing it again, just being able to take in the architecture and take some nice pictures and just have a nice little walk around was good. Actually, I think the gift shops there were the best gift shops we'd seen, and we actually held off buying anything because we're like, oh, we'll wait in case we see anything better, and to be honest we didn't. We should have bought more there, but yeah, it was really nice, and it's where I found the little Poland pin as well. Then on the last day we were walking a different route through the old town and ended up going down these streets which had loads of really good little shops, like really nice gift shops with good quality items and some smaller businesses. So it's a shame that we seen them then as opposed to like a few days before when we had more time to explore. So again, if we went back, I think we would go down those streets. I'll leave them linked below because I can't remember off the top of my head like where it was, what they were called, but they had really nice gift shops and other restaurants as well. And the way we walked, you actually went through the train station, I think, like you went underground and came out, you actually came to a big shopping centre. Again, it depends on what kind of trip you're looking for. Like for me and James, we went to the shopping centre to kill a bit of time while we waited to go to the airport for our flight. Kind of things you would find at home, like I would find in the town or wherever. Like I go on holiday, like I'm not really interested in going shopping to big shops, like unless it's cute little gift shops and trinkets and things. Like I'm not bothered about like Zara and Sephora and places. Like unless I need anything, I'm not really too bothered about doing a big shopping trip. Everyone's idea of a trip is different, so if you did want that, it was a really nice big shopping centre with lots and lots of shops in. So moving on to the last thing, which is the 2 Get Your Guide trips we booked. So I knew that I wanted to do an Auschwitz trip and a Zakopane trip. So I just went on Get Your Guide and had a look and basically booked the 2 most popular ones. Starting with Zakopane and the thermal bath. So this cost £150 for 2 people, so about £75 each. I did about 8 AM on the morning, just down the street from our apartment. Very well organised. It was a large minibus, so it wasn't too many people, but a good size group, I would say. The first stop was a little village where all the houses were made out of wood. It was a really nice sightseeing kind of photo opportunity village. We then went a little bit further and stopped to try some of the local Polish cheese and vodka. Our guide, Maciek, he called himself Magic Mike. He was absolutely hilarious and he really made the trip what it was. We got everyone together, he was dancing, he was doing drinking games, it was chaos but absolutely hilarious. So then after then we got back on the bus, he was playing like songs. If you've seen our videos, he was like bopping to Nelly the elephant, it was really funny. And then we got to Zakopane. So we got off the bus and we went straight up to the mountain on the cable car. So the ticket to the cable car was included in your booking. We went up and our guide actually showed us like a really good photo point where you could see the mountains and, you know, there was like nobody around. So that was really nice. Got some photos, and the kind of restaurant that was actually on the top, we stopped and had a drink each. I think it was like £6.50 for 2. They were non-alcoholic drink. James doesn't really drink that much, so they were about £6.50, which is very reasonable, and the view was amazing. So we had to walk around there. James played some of the games, like the basketball game and throwing a ball at tins and stuff, and won like a few like little prizes. And then after then we went back down in the cable car to explore the village. Firstly, when you walk through, there's lots of like little kind of souvenir shop and like street food marketplaces. So we got a twizzle potato stick thing, which was £1.50, which I thought was very reasonable and tasted really good. We got the pizza topping. It's such a simple thing, but it was really good, like really hit the spot. We also got a chimney cake, which I think was about £4.80. That was really good. It was bigger than my head, like if you've seen the photos or videos, bigger than my head. Me and James shared that, and that was really good. We just got Nutella in it, but it tasted amazing. And that was another thing that I'd seen all over TikTok, and I would say it was worth the hype. Like, I've not tried anything ever like that before, but it was really good. And again, as I said, me and James very much like our sweet treats. We just had a really nice leisurely stroll around. I don't think we really bought anything, we didn't do anything specific, but it was just nice to walk around and take everything in. We then got back on the bus after having a couple of hours there and drove to our last location, which was the thermal baths. This was honestly amazing, like a big highlight of our trip. Again, something that I'd seen on TikTok, and I knew I wanted to go. And when I was watching TikToks, I'm wondering whether you could take your phone in to take pictures and videos, because you know, generally in like a swimming pool kind of situation you wouldn't, but they actually sold waterproof phone cases at the shop, which was really handy because I'd bought two and left them in the bloody apartment. So I bought one of those. We went in to get changed. We were given like a watch like band thing, which you then scanned on the lockers. It gave you a locker so you could put your stuff in, and then you just like kept it on you. There was different parts of it. We must have only explored like a third of it. Like, it was so big. Straight to the outdoor baths, and it was just amazing, like being outside, and the water was so warm. They had these like metal circular things, I don't know what they're called, but basically it created waves, and it was hilarious. I mean, James would jump in and I like nearly drown, standard. But yeah, it was really fun, and equally it was a nice place to relax. Like, it had the fun elements, but it was really relaxing. After we'd had some time in there, we came out and went kind of downstairs into this other area which had jacuzzi baths. So there was probably about 5 lined up, and me and James were in one ourselves. So that kind of shows it wasn't actually that busy when we went. And it was just, yeah, really relaxing, really nice. Like, the water was just lovely to sit back and relax in, and we had a really nice time. You could also use the watch bands you had to purchase food and drinks in there, and then you just paid on the way out, which I thought was really handy because, you know, if you were hungry or thirsty, you could literally just go and have a seat and have something to eat or drink, and you didn't have to go back for your bag and your purse or anything like that. So that was really useful. And yeah, it was just a lovely place, like really somewhere you could spend the entire day. That was definitely, as I said, a highlight of the trip. They had a really nice like bakery and a restaurant and things, so yeah, you could really make a day out of it if you went on your own. But I think the way we did it during the trip, where we went to Zakopane first and did that on the way back, it was just the right balance. Like, for the whole day, as I said, it was so well organised, and we just had the best time, and we didn't like come away thinking we needed more time in any of the places. Like, I think it was a really nice balance. So if you are thinking about going to Krakow, I would definitely recommend the Zakopane trip. I will leave it linked below, because obviously when you go and get your guide, there's lots of different trips from lots of different providers, but the one that we did I would really recommend. And as I said, the guide just made the group really come together, and you know, we had such a lovely time. That brings me on to the last trip we did, which was Auschwitz and the salt mine. So the day before, we actually got a message to say our pickup time had been changed from 8 a.m. to 5:40 a.m. So we weren't happy about that, not gonna lie, because it is a big change, a very early morning. I then went on to the reviews and seen a lot of people had put negative reviews over the last few days beforehand. You know, I seen one woman had had to eat her lunch in the queue for the salt mine, and I was like stressing a little bit. So it came to the day. We went up the street to get collected. It was the same spot to get collected by the bus. Again, it was like a small mini bus. And to be honest, I think it was actually quite well organised, considering they'd had to change the time. Everything else ran smoothly. Whereas obviously the driver, a guide who kind of explained everything to us, Then when we got to Auschwitz, there was a like separate tour guide who actually took us around the camps. So we went to the first one, so the first camp, where we had like little earphones, and she was using a microphone to tell us about different things as we walked through. You know, obviously Auschwitz isn't an exciting, fun trip. It's very educational, very sad, very moving, but as I said, James had always wanted to go there, and I think it's a really important place to visit, especially if you're going to go to Krakow. I think you need to go there. So yeah, we walked around and learned so much about the different buildings. There was lots of exhibitions. You could take a lot of photos. I think there was only one or two places you couldn't. I decided not to film, just to be respectful. I just took like the odd photo, which I did include in my vlog. Moving educational place. So after that we went back on the bus. We did get like a few breaks at either side of everything as well, which was nice. We had plenty of time to get a drink, get some food, go to the toilet. We got back on the bus and went to Birkenau, which is the second camp, and met the same tour guide. We didn't need like the microphone and headphones there because there's not as much to view. It's like a really big camp, but it's like less buildings to go in. So we walked up like past the train track where obviously the would have came in, went to see where the ruins of the gas chambers were, and then we actually went into one of the buildings where you could see the beds, and just seeing, you know, like these beds that they're not beds, are they? They're literally like wooden planks where so many people had to sleep. It was awful. And I think, you know, me and James had been complaining how uncomfortable the bed was in the apartment, so then seeing that was a bit like, oh god, actually, you know, we're really lucky to be sleeping on that bed. So yeah, we went round there and again had another break, got back on the bus to then go to the salt mines. So it's worth saying both of these trips we did, Zakopane and this one, were both 11-hour trips, so very long days. So I would advise, if you're going on them, to take lots of snacks and drinks in your bag, wear comfortable shoes, take maybe like a portable phone charger. The second bus we went on actually had like charging USB points anyway. But just go equipped because it is a long day. So we went to the salt mines and we actually had an hour and 20 minutes before going in of free time, so we actually went and had a meal. We went to a restaurant just opposite it. I can't remember what it was called. We spent £27. We both got fish and chips, which was amazing, by the way. I mean, typical English people to go and get cod and chips at the restaurant instead of the local cuisine. I think that's one of the things I regret, is not trying more of the local traditional food, but I'm a bit fussy and I've got a phobia of being sick. And I'm also really fussy with meat, so I just stuck with what I knew and tried the odd thing. And then we got some coffees as well, which was much needed at that point because we were absolutely knackered. So we had our meal, had a little walk around, and then went in the salt mine and again met a different tour guide who took us around the mine. Absolutely amazing, like breathtaking place. Photos and videos really don't do it justice, and again I would absolutely recommend going because the sculptures and the chandeliers and just everything they have done down there is just insane. Like, I just cannot comprehend it. But yeah, just really, really lovely to walk around and learn everything. And going down as well, I was a bit skeptical because you go down 800 steps. You do 400 first, I think, and then the other ones are a bit more gradual. So we were going round and you were just going like down, round, down, round, down, round, and I thought, oh, I do get a little bit claustrophobic, so I was panicking that I was gonna feel a bit like anxious, but I was actually fine. And it didn't take as long as I expected. And then once you're down, you do like the odd steps, so it doesn't feel as much. But yeah, just seeing like the water and the sculptures, the statues, the chandeliers, like absolutely stunning. And James said he was really, really surprised by it as well. So I think we're really glad that we did that trip. Again, although it was a very long day, it just made sense to do those trips together. So doing Auschwitz and the salt mine, like doing that one big trip, because you know, you've got your bus that you go on and that bus takes you to each location and you can leave your stuff there, and it just felt very organised as opposed to doing lots of different trips or using public transport where I think I would have probably felt quite stressed. It just made sense to go with this tour operator, this, you know, this tour guide, and just know where we're at and get everything explained to us. And as I said, just be able to take lots of food and things with you and keep it on the bus, and you know where it is. So if you are looking to go to Krakow, as I said, if you go and get your guide, there's lots and lots of trips on there. We did the ones that were most popular, and I will leave them linked below. Anyway, I have rambled for much longer than I imagined. My throat is so dry. I hope that if you are visiting Krakow soon, or you're planning a trip, that this was helpful. I am quite an anxious traveller. I really always wanted to do a lot of travel content, but in the last few years I've developed quite a big fear of flying. Like, it started about 10 years ago, but it was like on and off. Like, I wasn't too bad, but just the last few years, I think since COVID, I honestly have become petrified of flying. So I'm really trying to get over that, because I just really want to travel the world. Like, I know everyone does, but I do want to travel and explore more places. And, you know, before this trip, the only places I've really been to has been the UK, obviously. I've been to Amsterdam, and then I've been to France, Spain, Portugal, the Canary Islands, and I think that's it. Like, I've not really been anywhere other than that. I've said to James, that's my goal for the next few years, is I do want to just travel to different countries. So going to Poland, completely different country I've never been to, and, you know, Krakow, amazing city, really, really nice place. Very affordable to go there. Like, obviously the food and drinks and things are really cheap, but also the trips, like really meaningful educational trips that, you know, I'm going to remember forever. And just such a special trip for me and James to go and experience together, and I'm really glad we did it, and I cannot wait for our next city break. I'm thinking Rome. James really wants to go to Rome as well. He wants to take his dad, because his dad's like quite religious, so yeah, that might be next on the cards. We are going to Spain in September. I'm going on a mystery trip again with Christy in December, and then next year, October 2025, we are going on a 2-week Piano cruise around Spain, Portugal and the Canary Islands, which I'm very much looking forward to. But I think next city break on the cards is probably going to be Rome. Oh, there's so many travel bloggers in the world, and, you know, obviously me as a creator online, I don't have a massive following. I absolutely love just creating these videos, and I think for me, I'm a nervous traveller. You know, I'm very anxious, don't have unlimited funds, so we can't go on all these bucket list, you know, destinations all the time. But the added fact that I am scared of flying, I am a nervous traveller, so trying to overcome that. The fact that I don't drink. A lot of people go to Krakow and go to all the bars and try all the vodka, and, you know, and I did try the vodka on the trip. The cheese was good, the vodka not great. But I don't drink, and I just think that my perspective on travel can be a lot different to other people's, and I do want to just share my experiences and just being able to look back as well. Like I said to James, and I mentioned it in one of my vlogs, the person who enjoys my vlogs the most is myself, because I get to watch them back. And just being able to watch the memories. Like, me and James had such a laugh. Like, if you watch the first vlog, we were absolutely dying, because I got his phone and I was like, why is your maps in Polish? Obviously we're in Poland, but it, like, I was trying to say something else, it just came out wrong. And there was another clip, I think, in the second vlog, where we were just hysterical, like, just had such a laugh. And, you know, just being able to look back on that, if anything, I just wish I did it sooner. I remember years ago going to Spain and Greece and Mallorca, and I would always film my videos this way. Like, I would always film because I wanted to make vlogs, and I would get all of these videos, and, you know, when I'd come back from the trip, I'd be like, right, I'm gonna make this vlog, I'm gonna post it on YouTube. And I just never would, because I was scared of what people would think, and I really held back. And there's just, yeah, so much that I feel like I could have achieved if I started sooner. I do wish that I could look back on more memories, and, you know, obviously I had the choice to do it and I didn't. So that's one thing I'm really pushing myself to do, is vlogging the experiences, the trips, the holidays, the city breaks. and being able to watch them back. And yeah, thank you if you've watched, especially this far. I've absolutely rambled the last few minutes, but I hope you found this useful, and do let me know where you're planning on going next, or where your bucket list destination is, if you've ever been to Krakow. Like, you know, just chat to me in the comments, because I need some inspo of where to go next, really. As I said, I think Rome, but other than that, so many places, isn't there, to go, and so little time. I just really want to make the most of it while it's just me and James, because I don't know if I will ever want children, but if I do, like, obviously life would change. At the moment, I'm quite lucky in the sense that my mum can look after the pets, and it means that we can still go on holidays. But yeah, I just think we need to explore the world and do what we can while we can. So I'm going to leave this video here. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, my vlogs are linked below, so do go and check those out. Please do hit subscribe and like and comment and whatever else if you're at this point, if you've got this far, because I am really trying to grow my channel this year, and I will see you in my next video.